Hey guys, what's up? I've been wanting to do just a general update video for a while now. I'd meant to do it at the beginning of the month, and now here we are a week later, and I'm finally getting around to it. Boy, there's a lot to talk about. It's interesting looking out at the Magic market, at Magic in general right now, at the whole ecosystem of Magic, and just seeing how different it looks than the last couple of years. How everybody is mostly positive or neutral, in their attitudes and their assessments of things and their general outlook on the game and the product, everything else. If we think back to probably the very, very low point of everyone's attitude on Magic, probably I'd say December of 22 when Magic 30 released, $1,000 for 60 fake Magic cards. And if you remember back to that time and then you think back a little earlier, December of 22 was really the kind of culmination of almost 18 months of near constant failure by WotC. It began with Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, Midnight Hunt, Crimson Vow. Then you had Kamigawa, which was a bright spot. You had Streets of New Capenna that utterly failed. You had Baldur's Gate and the rug pull around that. And then you eventually had DM22, which was a good product and was pretty well received, but it was really expensive. That was the first time they went with the 4 booster packs in a collector box for the regular price. And, well, it worked. People paid for it. The prices crashed pretty hard, and they're, eventually going to come back. I think they're still not quite to what they were on release day. Yeah, the collector boxes are selling for about $250 right now, and they were selling for $270 to $280 on release day. So even the collector boxes have still not completely recovered. And then you had the Lost Legends hysteria. You had Brothers War, which was well received, and you had Jumpstart 22, which was a good product. And so then you had Magic 30. And so, you look back at that whole 18 months before Magic 30 and December 22, and there was just so much failure, so much for people to be angry over, and the market was terrible. Boxes would come out, they'd almost always drop in price as soon as they come out, and you compare that to now. And we think, what has the last 18 months before now been like? Well, WotC cut print runs. They reinserted value into the collector boxes. They made the switch over to play boxes, which it seems like they're working that out. It's catching on. I think the early rejection of play boxes with Murders at Karlov Manor was more a function of too many cheap draft and set boxes still hanging around in the market, and immediately jumping to that $140 retail price point for a play box just wasn't going to fly until all those cheaper boxes dried up a little more. They've had a lot of successes in the last 18 months, better received sets. Collector boxes actually coming out and gaining value. We've seen the Lord of the Rings collector box, the special edition collector box, Fallout, Doctor Who, Wilds, Ixalan. A lot of them have done really well. 2 have not. Murders collector box and Outlaws of Thunder Junction collector box have both done poorly. But in general, the last 18 months has been really nice, and everyone's attitude is kind of adjusted to reflect that. People are nicer in their comments, in the way they interact. Videos in general that I watch from other Magic creators, there's just better attitude. So, that's really nice to see, and hopefully WotC can keep it up and improve it more. Certainly, there's always room for them to improve more. So, that's been really great. As far as individual parts of the Magic market, I was doing really, really well with Final Trade earlier this year, breaking boxes to sell for singles on TCG Player. I was doing a lot of business on that. I think 1 month I did over $20,000 of sales on TCG Player just on singles. And that really fell off a cliff pretty hard, but it was for the same reasons that 23 and 24 have been a big improvement. It's that WotC cut print runs. And so no longer did you have so many booster boxes sitting around in the market trying to be blown out by retailers recouping capital. And the opportunities to buy cheap boxes and arbitrage the singles out of them just kind of dried up for a while. In the last month or so, I'm starting to just barely see first indications of a few opportunities coming back for kind of the small scale single seller like me. the last 2 days, I've opened about 10,000 singles and listed those up for sale on TCG Player. So some very, very small opportunity. Not nearly the profit margins that we had 6, 7 months ago, not nearly the availability of the sealed product. And as far as uptake of the singles, that feels about the same. It's kind of hard to gauge, but it feels about the same. You know, you list stuff up on TCG Player and they get it sold for you. So, you know, it'd be nice to see that come back. I had a lot of discussions with patrons earlier this year as we all started to see the singles market and the ability to make money in it dry up. And at the time, what I would tell them is that, you know, I thought in 6 to 9 months, maybe 6 to 12 months, we would see improvement because you just need the pendulum to swing back the other way. You need enough box breakers to give up and drop out of the market so that they're not demanding boxes also. And if you were just always patient and watching the prices and waiting for the time to get back in, then you might be starting to see that now. So hopefully we can find some more opportunities and continue making money that way. So I'm optimistic on that. As far as, I guess we'll talk about sealed sales, patrons. Where are the sealed sales, Craig? So I had a lot of issues getting product. It got resolved, but for a while I was not able to get product from one of my best sources. And when it finally came in, I just went ahead and listed it on the monthly list of things available for sale to my patrons. Now, the prices are still great, still generally $20, $30, $40 a box off of the current market. And so I'm seeing consistent sales to patrons through there. I just didn't think it was fair to make patrons wait for a sealed sale for so long and then say, okay, now you only have this tiny window of time to buy this product. So I just put them up there on the regular monthly buy list. And I think that works well for now. I'm probably going to keep doing that because it's easier than running the sales. It's a lot lower pressure. And, you know, I still get consistent sales throughout the month to my patrons. Some of the products I still have tons left. Some of them are drying up. But in general, that's going really well. And I do still have great access to low price products. So that will continue and there will be more added from time to time. I wish I could get more new products more often. It just doesn't always work out. So I think it's still a great value. Like I said, $10, $20, $30, $40 per box off of current market price. I think the DM22 collector boxes, I'm still selling them for, is it $205 or $210? And out there, the market price is somewhere around $240, $245, something like that. So, you know, even just that one more than pays for your patron membership. Pokemon's doing great. They just continue to execute. They keep their heads down. They release sets. They're popular. And, you know, it's interesting seeing Paldea Evolved has gone up to like 130, 140-ish market price for a booster box already. That product's barely a year and a half old. Now, Scarlet and Violet base, it's still in $95, $100 range. So it hasn't appreciated as well. But, you know, it's the inevitability with Pokemon. They release the product. It's in print for maybe a year to 2 years. Just, it varies a lot with them. It goes out of print. It dries up. The prices rise. It's just the inevitable evolution of Pokemon sets. It's all just a matter of how big were the print runs, how long does it take for the supply to tighten up, and how fast does the price ascend afterwards. So we've seen a lot of good movement on Sword and Shield boxes. And I think it's Vivid Voltage and Battle Styles and Silver Tempest are still available on Pokemon Center website, which kind of keeps a soft artificial ceiling over price ascension until they sell out there, because they sell them at MSRP, which is for old Sword and Shield era was $144 for a box. And that'll, like I said, it kind of roughly keeps the market from going too high on TCG Player or eBay, because it's a good alternative there. So I check those every morning. I refresh that page every morning while I'm drinking my coffee to see, have they sold out yet of those 3 boxes? Not yet. Maybe it wasn't Vivid Voltage. Maybe it's Darkness Ablaze. I think it's Darkness Ablaze. I'd have to go see. So, you know, that's good. as a kind of cornerstone of what products you're going to throw back into your closet for the long term. Over time, I've moved to more heavily into Pokemon just because it's a consistent winner. Magic is kind of a different thing. It's there's a lot more variability. There's a lot more volatility with Magic, and so I still buy a lot of that. It's kind of different in the sense that there's always more demand for Magic in a way. I'm not sure how to explain that, but it's like people love Magic so much more, and people are so much more willing to buy Magic. You know, the Pokemon boxes, they go up in price, but what generally happens is most people who are Pokemon collectors, they're looking to fill a binder, and they do that generally within the lifetime of the product. And then, you know, the boxes do continue to get opened over the long period of time and the price goes up, but it's like there isn't as much volume of sales on the old Pokemon products as there is on the old Magic products. Flesh and Blood market, not a lot to report. They just keep chugging out expansions. I think they're on to number 15 now. Rosetta's going to come out, I believe, September 20th. So just keeps moving. Interesting stuff that I'm seeing with the old box sales data off of TCG Player. You know, the price for a sealed case is starting to appreciably diverge from the price of 4 individual boxes. That's just kind of a natural thing you expect to see over time. As the sealed cases become more rare, they become a collector item unto themselves, divorced from the value of the individual boxes inside or the singles inside either of those. So pretty normal there. My long-term thesis on Flesh and Blood is still the same. It's still very well managed. It's still doing great worldwide competitions. It's still releasing products regularly, still well managed, and I think it's going to continue to grow. And I think 10 years from now, we'll look back and we'll chuckle at how small the print runs of these early products were and how in demand the sealed boxes are at that time. And lastly, a little update on myself. If you've been around here for a while, you know, once in a great while, I'll talk about having had migraines my whole life. They've been really bad for the last 18 months, but I've had kind of a big breakthrough on them in the last probably 6 weeks. Ear, nose, and throat doctors have been doing a lot of research in the last 20 years on how these nerves in the front of your face that affect your sinuses also affect front facial migraines, which is the type of migraine I've always had. And so they've discovered some weird things like people can have allergy attacks that trigger migraines. They can have migraines that trigger allergy attacks, and they can find similar cross-coupling between treatments of the two. And so I had started reading about that and basically just started self-medicating Benadryl every night before I go to bed, Claritin D in the morning, and then a over-the-counter antihistamine nasal spray called Astapro that I use as an abortive when I feel a migraine coming on. And between the 3 of those, I haven't had a full-fledged migraine in over 3 weeks. And so it's really the first truly effective like medication combination in the 7 years that I've been actively trying to treat my migraines with a neurologist helping me. And you know, the real problem is it's ENT doctors doing this research and they publish in ENT journals, and so neurologists don't go and read it, and so then they're shocked to find out that antihistamines for some people can treat their migraines. So that's improved a lot, and it's been amazing just the last couple of weeks because I feel so much better. I have more energy and I'm not in pain all the time. So I've been able to start working out again and lifting weights. And so then I feel better because of that. I sleep better and just everything. So it's great. It's improving a lot. And I'm really, really optimistic. So I saw my neurologist on Friday and talked with her about it. And so we're trying to get things arranged for me to get back to work and to my corporate job, I mean, and basically try and carry on with a normal life without having migraines every day of the week all the time. So thanks to everyone who's given me support there and had a lot of kind words over time, and hopefully it's resolved or on its way to being resolved permanently. I'm really optimistic about it for the first time in a very, very long time. So if you've got any questions, I've got a couple videos with specific questions, from patrons. I'm probably going to be recording those today and posting them up in the next couple of days. Let me know what's going on with your business, your sales, what you're doing, what you're opening, things like that, what you're seeing out there in the market, ideas you have, everything else. If you want some discounted sealed boxes, come join the Patreon and let me know how it's going, guys. Things are going great and I'm really optimistic. So thanks to everyone who makes this content possible, especially my very generous supporters on Patreon. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join me on Final Trade.